Meta World Peace will return for Game 7, but this is what Kobe Bryant had to say. He's the one guy that I can rely on night in and night out to compete and play hard and play with a sense of urgency and play with no fear. So I'm looking forward to having him by my side again. All right, that, of course, about Meta World Peace. So, Skip, is Kobe being selfish or shrewd?
Stephen A. Smith, I love me some Kobe Bryant. You know that. But that was a flat-out selfish shot at his teammates. I didn't like it, and trust me, they didn't like it. Now we're going back to bad old Kobe. We're going back to playing the blame game, trying to distance himself from his teammates after what he clearly had hoped would be his Michael Jordan flu game, his all-time memorable legacy game in which he overcame throwing up in his hotel room so much he said it looked like a scene out of The Exorcist, and leading the Lakers at Denver to a great closeout win, except he didn't have any help. He did his part with 13 out of 23 shots for 31 points, but nobody helped him. And again, what a shot to take at Bynum, at Gasol, at Ramon Sessions. And here's the problem going forward. Those guys won't like it. And there's a danger that in Game 7 back in L.A., that those guys will all say, hey, if you love Artest so much, if he's the only guy who can ride shotgun with you, well, then you two guys do it, and we'll watch you guys do it because we clearly have no business on the court with you two.
Have you no shame? Have you no decency, Skip Bayless? I can't believe that on this day, on this morning, consider the abomination, the horrid performance that the Los Angeles Lakers put forth last night, particularly in the third quarter. It was just embarrassing, just embarrassing. I cannot believe that you could sit here with a straight face this morning and point a finger at all at Kobe Bryant. He's sick. He comes out there. He's playing. He's balling, by the way. He's giving back. And more importantly, here's the criminal part of what you're saying. He gave the most effort. He gave the most effort. Yes, Andrew Bynum had 16 rebounds, but didn't do much else. And Pau Gasol, that's really the crime here. And I understand that Marc Gasol, who came on during All-Star Weekend with us in Orlando, sat down with us, and he corrected me. He didn't want me to say his brother was soft. He's finesse. He's a finesse player. Remember that moment, Skip? And Gasol's a big boy. I'm certainly not there. I'm not there to disagree with him at that particular moment, but I wish he was sitting next to me right now because I tell him, for last night's game, not totally speaking, even though he's a finesse player, but for last night's game, Pau Gasol was soft, he was inept, and more importantly and more egregious than anything else, he was non-existent. He didn't show up. This is the second game in a row. This is a first-round series. You know Meta World Peace is not there. His services are not available or what have you. You know that Andrew Bynum's going to need help with his temperamental self, okay? You're Pau Gasol. You're experienced. You're a former All-Star. You're one of the most skilled big men in the games at 7 feet tall. You're a two-time world champion. You're in the first round against the Denver Nuggets, who have no size to compete with you whatsoever, and you show up and put forth the kind of anemic performance that you put forth. I mean, it is just ridiculous. And the fact that you could sit there and still find a way to point the finger at the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, is just beyond me. But I should know better because we are talking about Skip Bayless after all, or shall I say Skip Naismith. I mean, I don't know what to call you anymore. It makes no sense, Skip, but something is wrong with you.
Something is wrong with Kobe Bryant when he points the finger at an Andrew Bynum who had 16 rebounds last night and 4 blocks. And in the third quarter that you mentioned, in which they did get trumped, Andrew Bynum goes for 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks in that third quarter.
It was meaningless.
So
it was meaningless. 36 points,
it
was meaningless.
Disinterested? Really?
They gave up 36 points. They were getting blown out. They were getting blown out the building. You put in a putback here and there after you're getting blown out and giving up 12-0 runs and stuff like that. That don't count. I mean, stop it. Andrew Bynum didn't stop the bleeding at any stretch of the at any point. And Pau Gasol, again, I'm not here to get on Andrew Bynum because I do think he's formidable. I worry about his head, not his game. But I'm telling you right now, now. The real culprit is Pau Gasol. He does not show up last night. He hasn't shown up in the last 2 games, and that's why this series is not over, and that's why they're on the brink of elimination. And even though I believe they will win this game, because the Black Mamba won't have it any other way, I guarantee you, if something happens and they don't get it done, it'll have Pau Gasol's name written all over it. It's just bad. I can't believe that you will find a reason to blame Kobe.
Even though Kobe said that he went to Pau and talked directly to Pau, indirectly he took a shot at the entire team with the Artest quote, saying he's the only guy I can trust to play hard and play without fear night after night after night.
Hey, wait a minute.
That includes Andrew Bynum then in that pejorative quote.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Number one, he said he's the only guy I can count on night in, night out to compete. That is accurate because there are nights where Andrew Bynum, regardless of what we know about his skill set, there are nights he just doesn't feel like it. You know that. I know that.
No, that's
now,
Mike Brown's fault.
The reality is that it exists. It's a problem. We can debate that later, okay? I can teach you something about that. Yeah. But then let's get to the second point. Fear. Fear. Think about that word, Skip. Think about that word. You've got the star, first ballot future Hall of Famer, 5-time champion, scoring champion, finals MVP. I mean, you got it all. What is he saying? He's saying he's the only guy I can rely upon, talking about Meta World Peace, who 1 will compete, which is accurate, and 2, fear. He's saying that there's sometimes the moment gets too big for certain dudes. Now, everybody's not fearful, and everybody's not competing. That doesn't make Kobe wrong. It makes him very, very accurate and in a flagrant fashion. And stop sitting there and trying to point the finger at him when you should be looking at somebody else and others who are simply not stepping up to get the job done.
Do you realize Kobe Bryant is saying the only guy he can trust is Ron Artest? Are you kidding me?
I think it's an indictment I think that tells you how bad it is with the Lakers.
Okay, I'm going to say it again. Kobe Bryant playing a dangerous game, headed to Game 7.
It ain't a game.
Well, listen, because
that's what you don't understand.
There's high risk here that what you say is premeditated motivation of the rest of the team.
Can it get in
No,
risk-wise?
I don't think so.
Skip Bayless, risk-wise, can it get any higher than a Game 7? This is a Game 7. You Kobe Bryant, you're going against the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, they're a respectable team, but they shouldn't have been able to hang with the Lakers with their size. You got George Karl, the coach of the Denver Nuggets, coming on a podium, just exasperated, looked just totally worn out. I don't know how we can beat them. Our only shot is to run, push the ball up the floor. Their experience, their size is too much. They were up 3-1. They were supposed to close this deal. They didn't do it. Why?
Stephen A.
Why?
You were there last year, Dallas, Texas, Game 4. What happened? That team shut it down on Kobe Bryant. They just said, we don't have a shot here. We'll let Mamba do it and see if he can carry us this game, and he couldn't do it.
Because when they showed up in Game 3, who was Phil Jackson punching in the chest? Come on, get it together. The 11-time world champion. What was he doing? He was in Gasol's face. Did you conveniently forget that?
Nope.
Did you conveniently forget that he was all over him? We had never seen Phil Jackson like that with any player ever. He was all over Gasol. Why? Because he knows what this guy can do compared to what he was actually doing. And when you lost Game 3, it was pretty much over. That was your season right there. They lost that game. This Game 7 is on LA's home court. Kobe will close the deal. He'll come to the rescue, but he was calling dudes out. And that's why it's good to have a guy like Meta World Peace on your team, despite how crazy and bizarre he is, because he's the kind of dude that will probably beat somebody up in practice before he allows that kind of stuff to take place twice, and that's what every team needs.